Has there ever been a place you've always wanted to visit? A destination that's been sitting on your bucket list? The kind of place that gives you core memories and makes you stop and think, wow, I can't believe I'm actually here. For me, it's Banff. Banff is a place I've wanted to visit. A place where you can hike, paddle on bright blue glacial lakes, see wildlife, and escape the busyness of everyday life. I think it's crazy how 24 hours ago I was clocking off for work and then sitting in traffic on the 405. Now, there's just one problem. Banff is also ridiculously expensive. I was pretty blown away by how expensive it was. That's like a down payment for a car or several trips elsewhere. And life has a funny way of getting in the way. Before you know it, someday turns into next year. Then next year turns into never. So if I wanted this trip to happen, I'd have to do something I've never done before. I booked a hostel. Kinda nervous, I'd hate to admit it. Feels like I'm on a first date, I got butterflies in my stomach. And whether it turns out to be a great idea, Jesus Christ, that is so blue, or a terrible one, I have no idea what I'm doing. I was about to find out. So come along with me as I experience Banff, Canada, through my lens. Good morning from LAX. We have an early flight to Calgary where we'll take a shuttle and it'll take us to Banff.
Guys, take care.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Take care. Bye. Thank you.
What is going on, you guys? I have finally arrived here in Canada. I've got some time to kill before my shuttle picks me up and takes me over to Banff. Now, I've actually been to Banff once before, but the last time I was here, it was super cold and the lakes were frozen over. And after that trip, I told myself that I really wanted to revisit during the warmer weather to experience the Canadian Rockies and the lakes. So after getting some time off for work approved, I figured, why not send it? But the only thing is, when I was taking a look at the hotel prices, I was pretty blown away by how expensive it was. It was about $2,000 to $3,000 for a 5-night stay. That's like a down payment for a car or several trips elsewhere. Now I get it, it's peak season, things are gonna be expensive, but that was just something I couldn't justify spending any money on. Now, as a solo traveler who's been traveling for a year, I always had this thought in the back of my mind. I wonder what it would be like to stay in a hostel. But I could just never bring myself to stay at one because the thought of sharing a room with strangers and compromising my privacy always made me feel a little uneasy. But if I wanted to make this trip happen, and I don't know if I'd ever get the opportunity again, it was just something that I'd have to do. Now, the way I kind of thought of it was, whether it's a good experience, whether it's a bad experience, it will definitely be a memorable one. And the best part about this is I get to experience the Canadian Rockies and I get to see what the lakes look like during the warmer weather. Alright, just arrived at the hostel after a long day of travel, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kinda nervous. I'd hate to admit it. Feels like I'm on a first date. I got butterflies in my stomach. I just hope they don't think I'm weird. Anyways, let's check in and let's go explore. Alright, so I just checked into the hostel and honestly, it was not that bad. So first impressions, it's a very spacious room. I'm staying in a 6-bed suite. I'm gonna have 5 other dorm mates. The beds are bunk style. I got a bottom bunk. It also has a privacy curtain as well as a mini fan. And then this little box thing built into the wall where you could charge your electronics as well as put small belongings. The bathroom is also very spacious. Now, I will say it isn't the most modern, and I don't know how comfortable the beds are gonna be. We'll find out later tonight. But I like how it is in a central area and it's walkable from everything. And for the price that you pay, especially in an expensive area like this during peak season, I am really grateful for that. Now, comparing it to hotel, I feel like the biggest thing that I'm losing out on is the privacy. But, you know, after my solo trips to Slovenia and Austria, I'm meeting some pretty cool people. I'm slowly starting to open up to meeting people. There was only like one other person when I went in there, and he had headphones on, so I wasn't really able to interact and talk to him. But I'm sure as I stay here for the next couple of days, I'll be able to talk to and meet some pretty cool people. And I'm pretty excited about that. I need to remind myself that Banff is a popular tourist destination, so it will be busy. But with that said, one of the things that's really surprised me so far was how busy this small town is, especially on a random Wednesday afternoon. And then on top of that, I feel like the thing that's caught me off guard has been the weather. When I first looked up the weather forecast coming into this trip, it said a high of 67, so I was expecting it to be cold. But walking around after checking into my hostel, I've been burning up. And then literally moments later, it would cool down. So definitely something I wasn't expecting. Wow. Okay, that is actually really sick. I think it's crazy how 24 hours ago I was clocking off for work and then sitting in traffic on the 405, and then now I am hanging out by Bow River and watching the waterfall. I'm feeling really grateful right now. And honestly, I was initially worried that I was never going to be able to make this trip to Banff happen, and I say that because the prices for the hotels are absolutely ridiculous. So I'm glad that I was able to take a teeny tiny step outside of my comfort zone and am staying at a hostel. Now, like I said, I don't know what to expect just yet, but I'm gonna leave my expectations to the side and we'll just see what happens. Now, I was really hoping to catch the sunset. It's currently 7:30 and the sun isn't going down anytime soon. I took a look at the time the sun sets and it doesn't set until 10 p.m. Now, as much as I'd like to hang out here and do that, I am absolutely cooked from working 3 12-hour shifts the past 3 days and from a long travel day. So I think I'm gonna call it a day and see you guys tomorrow morning. Good morning, you guys. I've got a pretty early morning to start the day. I'm gonna be seeing Lake Louise, and I'm really excited because it was one of the main reasons why I booked this trip in the first place. Now, surprisingly, I got a decent amount of rest last night. The bed wasn't exactly the most comfortable. It creaked a lot, but my roommates were really good. They weren't too loud, and I feel like the lack of sleep the past few days definitely helped with knocking me out.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jeez, man. This is actually insane. I mean, just taking a look at this water, it's like a fabric softener baby blue, and it's also super clear. The views here are insane. It kind of blows my mind how blue this water is, and surprisingly at 7 o'clock it's also very busy, so I'll keep that in mind if you do plan on visiting. Now, I'm really enjoying the views down here, but I'm really curious to see if the views are any better on this hike. I'm doing the Little Beehive hike. It's about 5.5 miles long and it takes about 3.5 hours to complete. There are so many mosquitoes. Now, one thing that I wish I kind of read up more on is preparing for the mosquitoes and bringing bug spray. So shout out to the group of hikers that offered me some bug spray after seeing me doing kung fu with the mosquitoes. I really hope that once I get to the top, that all these mosquito bites are worth it.
Morning.
Watch out for the horse droppings. They even got horses doing this hike. Wow. This is so sick. So I definitely feel like the mosquito bites were worth it to get views from up here like this. Like, it's insane how bright and turquoise that water is. And it's crazy how different it is from, you know, being at the bottom of the lake to seeing the views from up here. I'm honestly at a loss for words. If you're planning on visiting Lake Louise and you have the time, I highly recommend doing this hike. Now, it's rated hard on all trails, but I thought it was a moderate hike with a gradual incline. And it's also worth noting that I saw people of all ages doing this hike, from kids to even the elderly. Now, I think it was definitely worth the effort though, because you get these breathtaking views at the top. Just make sure that if you do this hike to pack bug spray, because there are a lot of mosquitoes. This place is stunning. Like, if you were to take a photo, I think it would be pretty hard to take a bad one. Now, what the photos don't show you is how busy this place actually gets. Like, I didn't think it would get any busier compared to this morning. But, you know, do I think it's worth it despite it being crowded? I think so. And I say that because you can go on a hike or you could chill by the lake, and, you know, despite it being busy, I've still found myself enjoying this place. Now, the last time I was here, Lake Louise was frozen over, and I told myself after that trip that I really wanted to revisit one day. So I'm really grateful that I was able to make this trip happen, and now I could see Lake Louise in the warmer weather. And honestly, I'm at a loss for words. This place is amazing. It has me feeling speechless. Good morning. It is my second full day here in Banff. We're going to be heading back to Lake Louise, where we'll catch a shuttle to take us to Moraine Lake. Whoa. Now, what I really want to see is how the views are from the rock pile. Wow. It's crazy. It's my first time here at Moraine Lake. The last time I was in Banff, I only got to see Emerald Lake as well as Lake Louise. And I have to say that the views here are dramatic. It's hard for me to understand why. Maybe it's because I'm sitting here on this rock pile and I get to see, you know, the jagged mountains and then just the turquoise water. This probably is my favorite view of the trip so far. Now, I've never been on a canoe before, and I'm not a really strong swimmer, but I kind of want to experience Moraine Lake from the water. I have no idea what I'm doing. Honestly, thought it was going to be a lot harder, but after locking in for a second, I was able to get the hang of it real quick. Seriously at a loss for words right now. Like, core memory unlocked. This is honestly so sick. Surprisingly not that cold. Honestly, just so grateful. When I pictured myself coming back to Banff, this is exactly what I dreamed of. This is exactly what I imagined, to be on a canoe, even though I don't know how to use a canoe, even though I've never been on a canoe, even though I'm not the strongest swimmer. To be here on this lake, to experience this magical place. Honestly, I can't say it enough. I am truly grateful for this moment. Now, out of all the trips that I've taken and out of all the experiences that I've had, this one takes the cake. Now, if you're solo traveling Banff and you're considering, you know, hopping on Moraine Lake in a canoe, I highly recommend it only because it was super easy to pick up after you get the swing of things, and the water was really calm. Good morning, you guys. We got a fun day planned ahead. We're gonna be doing a guided tour of the Icefields Parkway. I had to end yesterday's vlog a little bit earlier only because of the weather. It started to rain pretty hard and it was getting really cold. But today's looking a lot more promising. Let's go. So first stop on the guided tour is Lake Louise. So this is my third time visiting Lake Louise in the past 3 days, and honestly, I do not mind coming back. The views are still absolutely breathtaking, and the reality is I do not know when I'll be able to revisit this place again. All right, off to our next stop. Thank you. We have made it to our next stop. It is Crowfoot Glacier. Now, I don't know if I'm blind, but I'm not seeing it. We've made it to our next stop. We're here at Bow Lake, and this place is incredible. The whole thing is just massive. Now, I couldn't get over the fact that I didn't see the Crowfoot at our last stop, so after looking at the footage and talking to my tour guide, he pointed out that it was literally right in front of me. All right, now what I'm really looking forward to is our next stop. I've been seeing pictures about it all over social media, and I can't wait to experience it in person.
Yes, view.
Jesus Christ, that is so blue. Yeah, this definitely has to be my favorite stop on the tour so far. It's crazy how much incredibly different it is compared to Lake Louise and Moraine Lake. It's like a darker shade of blue. And I just love how it's naturally shaped like a wolf. Like, just taking a look at this in person is insane. Like, it does live up to the hype when you take a look online and see those pictures.
Hi guys.
So for our next stop, we're here at Waterfowl Lake, and I love the color of the water. It kind of reminds me of my time in Slovenia when I visited Lake Bled. Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Get a quick scan on these. There you go.
Thanks, have a good one.
Up the store to the left.
Sweet, thank you. Wow.
Those are going to be your rivers of ice. Those are going to be your glaciers. The Athabasca Glacier.
It's so cold. How cool is this? We've made it to our last stop of the tour, and I'm standing on a glacier that is thousands of years old, and those epic monster trucks behind me is what took us on top of this glacier. Now, right next to me is this flowing glacial water. I've been seeing people all over social media trying it. I recently got travel health insurance, but I don't know if I'm willing to put that to the test right now.
You can see the meltwater.
Wow.
Oh my god!
Okay, it's actually a little bit scarier walking on it.
Yeah.
We have made it here to part of our last stop on this guided tour. This is the Columbia Icefield Skywalk. I didn't think I would feel nervous walking on this glass walkway, but it's kinda trippy. Honestly, y'all, what a long but fun day. Now, I'm usually not the type to enjoy guided tours because I like to take my time at each of the stops, but I actually really enjoyed my experience. And I feel like part of the reason why I enjoyed it so much was because, as corny as it sounds, the journey was part of the experience for me. It kind of reminds me of Big Sur back home in California, where it was just a scenic drive. But in this case, I was able to just ride along. Anywhere from the leading lines pointing towards the mountain ranges, to the vast and green trees, the creeks, the valleys, and we even got to stop and see a beautiful rainbow. But I would have to say my favorite stop of the tour definitely had to be Peyto Lake. It's incredible how blue that water was and how much different it was compared to Moraine Lake as well as Lake Louise. I also think it's crazy that it was shaped like a wolf. Now, if I had to revisit Banff again, I definitely would want to be able to rent a car and enjoy each of these stops on my own time. But overall, really enjoyed the experience. If you guys are interested, I'll link it down in the description below, the tours that I took. As for tonight, I'm gonna grab some dinner and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye for now. Good morning, you guys. It is my last full day here in Banff as I fly back home to LA tomorrow. And I'm really glad that I was able to make this trip happen. You know, I initially felt uneasy about staying in a hostel, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. I was worried about my belongings, was I gonna get quality sleep at night, and was I gonna make any new friends? And I feel like those worries were put to rest. There's a locker inside of our dorm where I could just put all of my belongings, such as my camera and my laptop, and lock it away. And even something as small as storing my food in the common area fridge. Not once did I feel like my belongings were in jeopardy. On top of that, I learned about myself that I could sleep through pretty much anything. I had roommates that were waking up early and heading out, and I feel like I was able to sleep through a lot of that. And while I don't really drink or hang out at the pub, I was able to meet a lot of cool people and make a few friends from different parts of the world. Now, if you're a solo traveler and have yet to stay in a hostel, I highly encourage you to do so at least once in your life. I feel like it's a good experience to have. Now, one thing that's important to note is if you're an introvert, you don't have to socialize with anyone in the hostel. Honestly, you can just come in and do your own thing and then head out and go about your day. But staying in a hostel, honestly, it was the perfect thing for me as a solo traveler. It was a bed for me to sleep on, a shower to use, all at an affordable price at the center of things. Now, if this means that I could save more money on accommodations and have more trips, then honestly, I'm open to staying at hostels again in the future. You know, staying at this hostel, it allowed me to come to Banff, and it was exactly how I imagined. I was able to hike above the beautiful Lake Louise. I got to paddle by myself on a canoe on Moraine Lake, and I was able to ride along and see the beautiful Icefields Parkway. I'm honestly really grateful. Anyways, guys, that's it for this vlog. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Peace.